Hey folks, so here's the Pioneer PL L1000. This is a linear tracking turntable introduced by Pioneer in 1979, and this one is in spectacular condition, fully restored and near mint condition cosmetically. The Pioneer PL L1000, it's linear tracking, it's fully automatic, direct drive, and has a quartz controlled motor. A few highlights. Let's go ahead and open it up. Few highlights for this deck. So number one, it has an excellent tone arm, so and great match for a wide variety of cartridges, both vintage and modern, moving magnet or moving coil, um, and you really can't put too good a cartridge on this deck. It's phenomenal from the standpoint of the tone arm as well as other aspects of the deck, including the mass of the platter and so forth. Has electromagnetic control of the tone arm carriage. So the carriage that keeps the tone arm tangential to the record groove at all times is moved on electromagnets. We can kind of show this. There's a jog wheel here. So super smooth performance, and most linear trackers have a some sort of drive using either a wire or a belt, and so it will make small corrections as it moves along. So this one is just moving very smoothly and continuously, and that's all controlled through the calibrations, which we'll get into in a moment. Strong and accurate direct drive motor. So this uses Pioneer's hanging rotor motor, something that is only used for a couple of years, and then cost control um, came in. But excellent motor, very stable, very strong, very accurate. The overall deck is phenomenal build quality. So it's over 26 pounds, has a metal deck and a suspended chassis. So um, the metal deck is actually solid to the feet, which are solid to um, whatever surface you have the deck on. The feet, some of the best feet from the standpoint of adjustability, and that's important for this table in order to, you need, because the tone arm is riding on the rails, there's no ropes or belts securing it. It needs to be as level as possible to have the proper performance. And the feet are very easy to adjust and very stable. Um, but what we're getting to is that this plinth is solid. There's a sub chassis which is floating on springs. So I think you can see that as I just apply a little pressure to the spindle here. You can see the platter as well as the tone arm are moving. They're all suspended on that sub chassis. So just a few highlights of the restoration. So this has had a full ground up restoration, which basically means anything and everything that could or should be done has been done. So by ground up, I mean essentially I remove everything from the chassis. So the deck is kind of a clamshell unit. The plinth comes off. The control panel and the power supply are mounted in the plinth, and the control panel is I always fully disassemble these and then clean them, deoxid on the controls, and that's critical, I think, especially for the control panels that sit out in the open. So all the accumulation of dirt and dust from that's gotten into those over the years is all addressed. So the look, feel, performance is just spectacular. Really, as close to like new as you're going to find. Um, so the power supply is recapped, all new electrolytics in the power supply, as well as the main board, which we'll get to in a moment. And then on the sub chassis, you have three main assemblies. You have the entire tone arm assembly, including the rails and the elevation motor, which raises the tone arm up and down. That's one assembly. You have the motor assembly, and then you have the main board. So all that is removed. Actually, take the opportunity then to clean the chassis and then rebuild each component. Essentially, from the motor is disassembled and lubed. The main board is fully recapped with new electrolytics, including several bipolars, all with Nichicon Muse or FG quality, audio grade quality components. And then special attention to the tone arm. So the elevation mechanism is fully disassembled, cleaned and lubed, and then aligned and a new belt put in, so you get great performance. This is one of the problem areas with these decks, and if they don't work, that's usually the first place to look. The tone arm is there's a sensor in the tone arm, uses a lamp, and so after 40 years, that lamp has typically gotten a little bit dim. So that's replaced with a brand new lamp. So that's disassembled. That's the main thing that's done to this assembly. So then while it is disassembled, everything is obviously cleaned, lubricated, and adjusted properly. And then at that point, it's the reassembly process. And with once it's back together, the real highlight is the calibration. So in order to calibrate the deck, your plinth is inverted and set upside down next to the chassis, and it's critical. You need custom built extension cables in order to connect the two parts of the unit, and that allows you to do all the calibrations in while the unit is playing, and you have access to all the controls under the plinth, which is sitting next to it. So very critical from the standpoint of alignment on this deck to get everything spot on, and several things related to timing. Let's go ahead and get a record on. And if you move the tone arm inward, platter starts to play. One great thing about your direct drives, and this is, like I said, a really strong direct drive motor, is you can clean your record when it's playing, and you're really not going to detect any noticeable difference in speed. It's really that strong. But several timings related to the drop as well as the pickup, the movement of the arm forward and back, and then a few other adjustments related to the drop point. Really one critical adjustment, there are shutters that catch the tone arm as it moves. So since the tone arm is essentially just not really floating, it's rolling on bearings on the rails, but as it's moving, there's a shutter that catches it. And one thing is that shutter is adjusted in terms of its position, so you have the correct drop, as well as I actually replace the fluid in that, or it's really a heavy silicone damping fluid, so that I don't know if you really, it's probably going to be not something you necessarily hear on this one, but rather than a clunk, you just have a nice click as that shutter engages. So just wonderfully smooth up and down. So the other, probably most important, let's go ahead and put this up, probably most important from the standpoint of any linear tracker is getting the adjustment of the tone arm so that it's playing tangential, and then when you have it raise up, you want it to be centered and stable, raised up as well, so it's not tending to drift one way or another, and then also adjusting the servos so that it is tracking smoothly as it moves across the record and not trying to get a header behind itself. So one kind of neat thing, let's move in a little bit, is because maybe not something you want to try at home, but this is a little demonstration of just the electromagnetic control. So incredibly smooth. So, and it's correcting itself in both directions, always remaining absolutely tangential to the record surface. So we've really already demoed several of the features. One thing we could do is, for instance, just show the repeat. It's kind of a neat repeat. Bring you guys close to the end as I can here, probably even past the end. So some turntables go all the way back to start and then replay, and the Pioneer is engineered just to go right back to the start and then come down. So phenomenal audio performance with this deck. So this has been fitted with a Audio-Technica cartridge. So this is an entry-level cartridge, really nice entry-level cartridge. It's the AT3600L, but I fully anticipate this deck would be refitted with a really nice cartridge. A variety of cartridges from kind of your sweet spot, say your Nagaoka MP110, up further into your moving coils or Suiko or etc. You're really going to have great performance with a really wide variety of cards. That's based on the kind of the geometry of and mass of the toner. So I think we already highlighted the jog wheel, which is fun. I'm at an angle, so I can't really I can really pick the beginning of the song perfectly. But you can, it's easy, especially with a linear tracker, to be able to get right to the center of, that beginning position of a song or track. And then, of course, at any point you can return. So wonderfully smooth. Like I said, everything that could or should be done to this turntable has been done. So it's as close to like new as you're going to experience, and just wonderful performance. That, also with an emphasis, for instance, on the recap of electrolytics to help ensure reliability over the coming years. So that's really all I have for you today, and it's a wonderful piece. Hope you enjoyed the video. I certainly enjoyed working on this turntable, as well as being able to highlight this for you. So thanks so much. Bye.